Well, I really believe that the work that Deanna does stands apart from any other body work I've had for several reasons. And one of them is her individual approach. And I don't mean just an individual approach in terms of each client, but also with each visit. It seems like there's a lesson in improvisation each time I've been at a session with Deanna, with a very yes and attitude, where she will gently invite change to an area, and as the body says yes to that, then I feel that there's an and following it. With Deanna's way of coaxing, I never feel pushed, I never feel rushed, and so the tissues in the body can unwind, can let go in ways that I don't find with other body work. It's sort of like, you know, coaxing a cat. You can't herd them, but if you make what you're doing look really fun, they'll join you. And I feel like she has a way of doing that with the tissues in the body, the connecting tissues definitely. And I've had a lot of really profound changes occur in my sessions with her. You know, you say, well, why Deanna when there's so many really capable body workers, you know, right around where we live? And I think that's probably the main reason. I feel like each session I've ever had with her has been profoundly different. And she's just right there in the moment each time. So that really, really makes a difference for me. One of probably the most significant ways that Deanna has helped me is in sort of a repetitive thing that I do is I play the guitar, and I'm in a duo, pretty successful duo here locally, and I've gone through periods where I was actually just unable to play because I had so much pain in my wrist, shoulder, elbow, and so Deanna had me come in and bring the guitar along. And I was very surprised at what happened. I kind of expected that I'd be on the table and she'd find all the spots that needed work. But instead, she had me sit down and we did it was more of an energetic thing. And the part about it that surprised me the most was that Deanna said that, you know, your guitar playing actually begins long before you pick up the instrument, and it begins with intent. So I thought about that for a little bit, and then so she had me just have the instrument beside me, and she said, go ahead and pick it up and just play something. And immediately when I reached for the instrument, I had such pain in my wrist that I wasn't even able to pick it up. And there we had our starting place. And by the end of that session, I was blown away at the difference, because I really had to understand that she was right. I mean, playing guitar does begin before you pick up the instrument, and not just in your body mechanics, the way you're seated in a supportive chair, but in the whole intent behind it. And I don't even think about it now, and I have not had these recurring pain issues anymore. It's a very simple process to just pick up the guitar and put it on my lap. And I'm not having pain, I'm not having weakness, and it's, you know, just flows very, very nicely. So I have Deanna to thank for that. Was that too much?
Oh my God.
Somebody might come to Deanna because they're having trouble walking. Of course, you walk every day. You need to walk to get around. It's the way your life is set up. Well, it's similar with me and my guitar playing. My music has always been my #1 way to express myself. It's my creativity, and it's the guitar itself is what that comes through. I write songs, and I'm a vocalist, and I really don't do it without my guitar in my hand. So it impacted my everyday life, because if I wasn't able to pick up the guitar, I got depressed, and I was just not finding that release every day of that creative thing that I do. So I'm in a band here in Bellingham. It's called Cabin Fever Northwest, and we've won several awards, and we're just coming out with our 3rd CD. And we do travel and we perform quite a bit. And it was actually during a recording process when I was really having a lot of trouble picking up the guitar, and there were several tracks on there that I wasn't even able to play through because I had too much pain in my wrist. And the work with Deanna has just helped me to revisit all of that and not have the recurring issues. But because guitar playing is as important to me as, you know, hiking is to some people, or mountain biking, or, you know, whatever their physical activity is, because guitar playing is a physical activity. And getting back to it just really helped open up all kinds of other things for me as well. And I've written a lot of new songs, and we've got an excellent new CD coming out, and all of that had kind of come to a little bit of a halt. And getting back at it was really important to me. It's huge in my life. A lot of things that we do, whether it's a trauma, physical trauma, or something in our past that gets sort of locked into our bodies, is it stays in there, and then tensions build up around it. And the work that Deanna does with the unwinding is very like music in a way, because she really listens. I mean, she listens to what the body needs at that moment, at that time, and moves forward based on that. It's like a question and answer. I mean, I spoke before about it being an improvisation, and it definitely is that as well, because things have to move in a certain way in improvisation, and if there's something that you hit up against, then you've got to find a way to work around it. And that has been my experience with Deanna, definitely. Just the knowing that I'm not going to go to a jam session where, you know, they tend to go on for maybe 10, 12 hours at a time and you never stop, and know that I'm going to be able to be there, and I'm going to be able to play through, and I'm going to be able to enjoy that community and that harmony and all the stuff that you get from being in a jam like that, is such a great feeling for me. I mean, right now I'm looking forward to a 4-day getaway at Puget Sound Guitar Workshop, where basically I will be playing guitar for probably about 22 hours a day for 4 days straight. And before my work with Deanna, I don't think that I could have gotten through that. But now I do, and I also know that if stuff starts to feel tight and I start to feel that, I know how to go in, I know how to unwind, I know how to work on those things myself, because she has given me the tools to do that.